Well, hello, everyone. My name is Brenda. We have Laura, Mariano, and Rick with us today. And this is Conversations from Home. So today we're going to be talking about one of our best vacations because between the four of us, we've had several. And so we just want to take you guys down memory lane as we're all quarantined, just dreaming of when and where we're going to go once all this is over. So we're so excited that you're here to join us. So let's sit back and kind of reminisce on the best vacation you have had. So I'm going to turn it over to Laura so she can share with us.
Thank you, Brenda. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and hopefully this will take you guys to another place. This here is one of my favorite vacations. This is Atlantis in Paradise Island, Bahamas. And, the one thing I really love about this business is it makes vacations like this possible. I did the free training that we talk about to get certified as a travel agent and do the free training. I became an Atlantis ambassador. As a graduation gift, they offered me 30% off a 3-night stay, which was fantastic. But I tell you, when you're flying from Colorado and you're going all the way down there, I'm not going for just 3 days. We were going for a week, and we were also going with my parents. So I thought, well, there has to be another way. And I thought, oh, I have the membership too. So let's check out the resort on the membership. And so we went to stay at the Reef. And the Reef is their 4-star property on here. This was the view from my balcony. Now, when I went to the Reef on the membership, and I have my mom on the membership too, we were able to save 46% off the entire 7 nights, which was huge. The part of the building you see a little bit off to the right there, that is the Cove. That's their 5-star adult only. They have a 5-star, 4-star, 3, 2. They have family budgeted facilities there as well. So just an absolutely gorgeous resort. Plus I earned all the reward credits. And of course we booked the flights through there too. So the funny thing for me was, as you can see, obviously I'm in an ocean view. Not what I booked through the membership. I booked a terrace room on the membership because I thought, well, I'll save some money because we're doing this, this, and that. My parents booked the ocean view. When we came to check in, they said, oh, hi, Mrs. Cross. They said, yes. They said, we just didn't know if you wanted an adjoining room with your parents or not. And I said, well, I don't care. I mean, there's 2 entryway doors. We're all completely separate, but we're just next to each other. I said, no, that's fine. My mom looked at me and she asked me later, she goes, how can you be adjoining? She said, we booked ocean view. You booked a terrace. Well, because I did the training and I became an Atlantis ambassador, they told me, oh, no, you were always ocean view. They gave me a courteous upgrade to the ocean view room, and which was at least a $500 upgrade. They took me on a tour through the properties to show me what their different properties look like. And we just had a wonderful time. So as you can see this right here, this is the view off, like I said, off my balcony. And this was wrapped around the balcony. I was actually up on a corner, and you can go around the corner. So all the mornings I could see them training with the dolphins, which this is where my mom and I did the deep water swim with the dolphins. They actually had 6 or 7 dolphins in there that they had rescued from Hurricane Katrina from New Orleans that were in there. So I could always just sit on my deck and watch them and watch, the other people. But there's Electra. Mom and I got to do a deep water swim with Electra, and it was one of the coolest experiences that we had. This here, Sun and Ice, this is called Junkanoo ice cream. I got to tell you, this is my new favorite ice cream. It's bright yellow cheesecake with red velvet and an Oreo mixture. It's got a cream cheese in it, some watermelon jam, and a caramel concoction. May sound funky, but it's the best thing you've ever tasted. All of their ice cream is homemade, fresh every day, and it's called Junkanoo after the Bahamian Street Parade, which we happened to be down there in time for, except for the one night it was supposed to go through, it rained, and they did wind up canceling the parade. But here's one of the pictures on the left from the water park. I mean, that water park just goes all through there. You can actually walk around the water park, get from each different location. You think it's far away, and you have shuttle buses, they'll take you all over, but you can actually just walk right through, and you can bounce from property to property. They have one of the largest aquariums that's inside and outside. So their aquarium runs through about 3 different properties on there as well as outside. And one of their rides, you even shoot out in a tube through a tunnel, and you shoot out through the sharks. The tunnel goes actually through the shark tanks. You actually kind of shoot out through the sharks. But it was really cool. Unfortunately, Dakota wasn't feeling too well at the times, and my mom, she stayed off of them, but Dad and I were hitting the water rides and the lazy river. We were having a good old time. And then this is down by the marina. One thing I love about the Bahamas, besides the people are just absolutely wonderful. They're very friendly. They have all these bright colored buildings, the yellow pastels, the pink, blue, they're all different colors. It's just really pretty and lively and fun. And then, of course, this right here is Ben and Jerry's. They even had a Ben and Jerry's ice cream down there besides the steakhouse. But there was a ton of things to do. And so we had something to do all 7 days. For me, the vacation came at a really good time. It happened to be right after I had lost my last pup to cancer. So I was kind of an empty nester again. So it was great to get here, get away, and get my mind off of things. Not normally the recommended time. I mean, as you can see, the weather was gorgeous. And I don't have the pictures where you can see out in the ocean, but this was actually 1 week before Hurricane Irma came through. So we actually left 1 week before the hurricane came through. You could see it brewing out there, but I will tell you, Nassau and the Paradise Island, that's normally where they evacuate everybody to. It's kind of tucked in and it's pretty safe. But that's another one of my favorite views. I love the look of that building. You'll see the other side of it when you come in on the cruise ship. But, the sunset going down, it was just absolutely gorgeous. And of course, the whole trip was tax deductible because I'm in the travel business. So kind of can't beat getting away and enjoying yourself and being able to write it off on your taxes. We've done a number of them, but that is absolutely one of my favorites because we haven't vacationed with my parents and stuff in a long time. So we really enjoyed that one. And I know, Brenda, you guys have quite a few, and I'm sure you have ones that you want to share with us as well. You're muted. Unmute.
Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it over to Mariano, and he's going to share with us some of his great vacations too. Mariano, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Brenda. Can you guys see that?
Not yet. We still see your beautiful face.
Sorry about that. Let me learn how to use technology here.
It's all good.
That's that adversity that we always overcome.
Oh, yeah, sure. Okay.
There you go.
All right. So I don't know how many of you have been to Hawaii or not, but I will tell you that that is the favorite vacation spot in our family's list of vacations, simply because of the fact that it was an opportunity for us to take my mother, who had never been out of the country, to go see a different part of the world. She was born and raised in Arizona, pretty much, and had never been out of the country at all. And then really not too many different states either. So we landed at Honolulu on the island of Oahu, and we spent the entire trip was about 10 days worth. And I will tell you that we were running the whole time we were there, because we wanted to see as many things, as many places as we could, because we really didn't know when we would be able to get back there. So we wanted to cram as much as we could in. And so we were really blown away by how much we actually saw with the number of days that we were there. So needless to say, we were at a place right on Waikiki Beach. And from the place that we were at, the beach was really pretty obvious, or visible, I guess I should say. And just walking around the place was paradise, as you can imagine. And speaking of paradise, there was a hamburger place called Cheeseburger in Paradise that gave us some fond memories. If you remember, there was a song about that. So one of the things that I remember about the restaurant is that there was a banner along the top of the restaurant inside. And it said weather report, 85 degrees, wind from the west or something like that. And then they said the forecast for tomorrow, 85 degrees, wind from the west. So basically what they were telling you is that the weather was going to be pretty consistent, and that if you didn't like it, just be patient, because it was going to be pretty spectacular the whole time. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the island of Oahu, there's a lot of cool places to see, and there's a road or a highway that goes around the island of Oahu, and it's the island of Oahu isn't a very big island in the first place. So we got a chance to we rented a car and went to the North Shore, because North Shore's infamous for some of the movies that have been filmed there, and just what it represents. And on the north side of the island was the Polynesian Cultural Center, and that's where we actually had a chance to go on a luau, which was a lot of fun. And the Cultural Center in itself is a place where I highly recommend that if you ever go there, that you make that one of your experiences, because the luau and all the things that they have there at the center are really informative of the different groups that make up the Polynesian culture. So then we also had a chance to go to a place called Hanama Bay. And even though it was pretty crowded as far as, the number of people there to swim and whatnot, it was my first experience in seeing a wheelchair that had big wheels that you could push someone out on the beach. And so that way we were able to get my mom close to the beach and have her put her feet in the water and so on and so forth. And that was really special, because, otherwise, at that point in time, my mom wasn't real mobile. So we had a wheelchair that we used to, give her an opportunity to see all the things that we were seeing. So having that big wheeled wheelchair was real special. And, again, Pearl Harbor is on that island. We didn't get a chance to do the tour because I didn't realize that you had to make reservations in advance. But I'll tell you, just the time that we spent at the Pearl Harbor Museum was enough for me. And looking at all of the information that they had there, the artifacts and things that they talked about for all, what happened that particular day. And so to me, it was more than enough. Even though we didn't get a chance to go out and see the Arizona or whatnot, we still had a good experience there. And then, of course, everybody knows about pineapples. So we went to the Dole Pineapple Plantation, and that was really a lot of fun, because we learned a lot about pineapples. But I think the coolest thing was the maze that they had there. And, depending on if you're claustrophobic or not, that could be a good thing or not. So we had fun doing that and that experience. So we spent about 3 or 4 days there, and then we went to the Big Island of Hawaii. And so when we flew in from Oahu or Honolulu, we flew into Kona, which is on the west side of the island. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there's basically Kona on the west side and Hilo on the opposite side. And then there's one highway that, again, circumvents the whole island. And what's neat about that is that as you go around the island, you get a chance to see a lot of the things that are available on the island to sightsee. And one of them was the Black Sand Beach. And, it's basically lava or pumice that has been, crushed and refined over time. But if you've never seen a black sandy beach, there's a good place to do that. And then, of course, Volcano National Park, which was really kind of cool, because you could see actually go and visit or go through tubes of lava flow that it's been, created over time. But the most spectacular part of that trip on the island was the helicopter ride that we took, that actually flew us over the active volcano that's there, and then also flew us along the beach where the lava was running into the sea and actually, expanding the island of Hawaii. And then along the way on that trip, we also went to one of the King's Hawaiian Rolls factories or stores, where we got a chance to eat those rolls right off the grill, so to speak, or right out of the oven. So that was a real treat in itself. So, you know, what I'll tell you is that even though we spent 10 days there, that seems like a long time, but, you know, because we were trying to see as many things as we could, there was a lot that we weren't able to see. So the next time we go back, I'm going to make it at least 2 weeks, excuse me, so that we can be a little bit more leisurely. And I'd also like to do the one thing that I missed down on that trip was play around the golf, because most of the golf courses are along the beaches of those islands, and there's some of the most beautiful views that you can imagine. So I wouldn't mind losing a couple of balls in the ocean out there. So anyway, the thing that I'm going to share with you now is that I took this trip well before I got involved with Surge 65. But as I look at, again, the benefits of traveling and creating memories of a lifetime, the trips that I've taken since I've been involved with the travel business have been phenomenal. And I wish I could have written this trip off as a business trip, but unfortunately it didn't turn out that way. But the bottom line is I'll have these memories forever, and you can have memories too by the trips that you can take through us with the options that we've got, and certainly not pay full price. So anyway, that was my favorite vacation. So Brenda, I know you guys have a few vacations that you want to talk about. So let me hand it over to you.
All righty. Thank you so much, Mariano. That was great, taking us over to Hawaii. And you know, this business, I love it because it allows you to determine where you want to go, when you want to go, and how you want to go. See, just like we have shared, you know, Mariano and Laura has shared with you, travel creates memories. There's no other way. I mean, you have the pictures, and now you have the GoPro camera, like Laura was talking about earlier, and you can film everything and you don't miss anything. And one thing I like about my Surge 365 business, it allows me to go where I want to go. See, with this pandemic hitting now, it's stopping people from doing what they want to do. A lot of people have self-quarantine and you're staying in your home, and that's what you need to do. You need to obey the law so we can all come out of this on top, and we will. But we know life happens, and a lot of people were not even able to spend time with their loved ones. But because of this business, back in 2010 was when my mom passed away. And because of the freedom that we had from working from home, Rick and I were able to go down to Charleston and be with her. And there was no time limit, you know, it was great. My father allowed him to take over his desk so he could keep working the business. I was able to get up every morning and go to the hospital and spend time with my mom. See, right now with this going on, folks are losing loved ones and they're not even able to be with them. But I was able to be with her, and I was able to laugh with her. And we talked about a trip we took. We took a cruise out of New York City down over to Nova Scotia, places that she always wanted to go. And we got to do that, and we got to laugh and talk. And, you know, I was raised in New York City, so going there with my mom and staying and walking Times Square, it was just a lot of fun. And see, travel creates memories. So when I was by her bedside, and of course we thought she was gonna, you know, recover and go home and everything was gonna be great, but that's just not how it happened. So it was nice to be able to spend the time with her and reminisce about the cruise and all the things that happened on the cruise. One thing that was funny is that I forgot my credit cards and I had cash. So I thought, oh, great. So we're going and we're just enjoying ourselves. We're in Nova Scotia and I'm just buying. And my mom, oh, I want lobster. We were in Maine on one of the excursions. So we stopped and she wanted lobster. So we ordered lobster and I'm like, oh, get that. And then I looked down at my wallet and I'm like, oh no, I don't have any credit cards. How am I going to pay for this? And my mom, she was so chill. She just didn't even care. She was like, well, you figure it out because somebody has to pay for this. And And I was able to get back on the cruise ship. And I said, well, you stay here. And I told the waitress, I said, hold my mom hostage till I come back so I can pay my bill. And I ran on the ship and I got my credit cards and I came back. My mom was on the deck laughing and talking with this wait staff. She had not a care in the world because she knew I was going to come back and rescue her. But those are the kind of memories that you just cannot, you can't put a price on it. And that's what I love about having your own home-based business, because it allows you to do those kind of things. Just like Mariano was sharing, he got to get his mom in the water, and you get to do these things, and we can take training now for special needs, and you can rent those big, huge wheelchairs now. And I know Laura is certified and I'm certified, and there's so many different people that are certified with special needs travel, and you get to write all this off on your taxes, and it just makes life so much fun when you realize that travel creates memories. So I'm going to show one other trip that I took, and we've traveled quite a bit and we've cruised a lot, but this one I thought was just fantastic. And because Princess allows you to take a class again and you become a Commodore. So once I graduated as a Commodore, my graduation cruise, I got to go the different places that Princess cruises. So of course, with this being a free trip from just taking the training, I wanted to go as long as I possibly could. So I found the 15-day transatlantic cruise, and it was spectacular. There wasn't a lot of people on the cruise ship, so it was like we were just cruising alone. I think there was like a couple of teenagers, just a great, it was like a repositioning of their cruise ship. And we passed the Azores, and we went to Lisbon. They have the best custard. Man, when you go, you have to make sure you try the custard, because that was great. And another thing I thought was spectacular is their streets are made out of cobblestones. And I thought, wow, that was so fun. So being in Lisbon, and then we went to Spain and we cruised over there, and we were able to go to the Guggenheim Museum. And that's down in the lower bottom here. If you see that, I think it's a little dog, but they made that out of hedges and greenery, and that was so spectacular to go inside the museum and see all the artworks of the different folks. And also we went to Paris. Now Paris was fun because Rick wanted to take the excursion over to Normandy. Who wants to be sad? So I was like, no, we're not going to Normandy. We're going to Paris. And so we were in Paris and we were walking around Paris, and I'm telling you, Paris has the largest Louis Vuitton store. So I was able to go into Louis Vuitton and walk around, and they would actually engrave your name on the purse. But of course, I didn't have time to stop and buy a purse, still trying to figure that one out. But it was something that I could have done. And then we went over to London, and we went to Buckingham Palace, and we jumped in one of those little black taxis. And so it was just fun to be able to do all the things that you want to do. We went over to Belgium, got some chocolate, and then we ended up in Germany, and that was fun. We did a Rhine River cruise, and shout out to my friend Lisa, who's over there. She found us, and so we got to spend some time with her and her husband Jeff, and we just had so much fun over there. And then my friend Laura, as we were on our way back, she told me it's snowing in Colorado. And I said, well, since it's snowing in Colorado, I think I'm gonna take another week and go down to Charleston. So that's where we were able to, enjoy the seafood. We had shrimps and grits. So all the pictures that you're looking at are different places that we've gone to. And of course, at the bottom picture there is Stonehenge, and that was cold, but it was so nice to be to these places, and I definitely want to go back again. I want to spend more than 5 weeks. I want to do a nice 2 months. I also plan on doing a world cruise. That's a 4 months. And you know, you stop and you get off and you see the world. So you definitely want to continue to dream. And by coming into the Surge 365 business, you get to write all this off. And that's the one thing that is so spectacular about it. So I'm going to turn it over to Rick. And I hope you guys had fun traveling with me on my 15-day, which turned out to be 5 weeks. Back over to you, Rick.
I did love that trip. And I got to say, Brenda, you did real well packing for all the climates that we went through. You figure if you packed for warm, temperate, and freezing up in Stonehenge. It was absolutely freezing, but it was exciting. And so you did a great job there. And so I'm just going to share just briefly, and we'd love to travel. I mean, this is what we do, and we get paid to do it. And again, it's all a write-off. So let me share a little bit about my favorite trip here. And let's bring it up. That was my favorite trip too. Alaska, frontier, wilderness. And this was a 7-day Carnival cruise, and left out of Vancouver, did a little cruising at sea, Ketchikan, Juneau, Skagway, Glacier Bay, College Fjord, and Whittier. And we just had just an incredible time. And as you can see, I'm just going to point out a couple of things here. But Ketchikan, we took a float plane to the world famous George Inlet Lodge crab, and it was all you can eat Dungeness crab. And we got all and ate all that we could eat. You see the picture of Brenda over to the bottom right, and we just kind of pushed all the shells in front of her. And we just had a fantastic time, and did, of course, some sightseeing in that float plane, and but just an incredible time there. And just then we went dog sledding, and this was pretty cool. We took a helicopter up to the Mendenhall Glacier, and they had a dog camp there, and these dogs were fresh from the Iditarod, and where they did some dog racing. And so you can see we actually took that helicopter ride and tour, and you see the picture there with the dog camps coming down to it. We didn't know what to expect, and never went dog sledding. And we went whale watching as well. Never saw even a fin of a whale or a tail of a whale, and so that was pretty interesting. But you talk about a great experience, dog sledding. You know, who does that in Alaska? Who takes that as an excursion? Only a few people. But if you get a chance, you definitely want to go dog sledding. You see Brenda there touching one of the dogs. They really liked her. She didn't like them all that much, but they really loved her. And then also I'm on the back of the dog sled, and Brenda's sitting down, as you'll see in a short little video clip that I have. And I'm on the back with the camera, and I almost fell off several times. And that would have been a sight to see. But let's see if we can get this little video clip to play.
We'll run them over there with the teams. It works pretty well.
So Brenda's sitting down, and I'm on the back.
Got enough power.
There's Brenda.
Oh, that's okay.
And I'm falling off almost on the back.
So the tent, is it like...
If you get a chance, you definitely want to do that. That was an experience, ladies and gentlemen, of a lifetime. And then we went on to the Eagle Preserve in Skagway, and so also in one of the towns we went to, it had a great Russian influence, and so we went to a nice little show there. And you can see the glaciers, and you can see the wonderful, wonderful scenery, and the views were just spectacular. At the preserve, you see Brenda there in the center, where she put her arms out, and eagles were huge, huge. In fact, everything in Alaska was huge. Now, the bottom picture to the bottom right, I actually took that picture. You can imagine being on the cruise ship and how spectacular, you know, the shot only shows just a little bit of it, but how spectacular the 360-degree view was on that. And then as we came out of the preserve, there was a shortcut through the wooded area and back to the cruise ship. And so we thought about taking the shortcut until we saw this sign posted: "This forest trail, excellent habitat for brown bears. Please use trail at your own risk." Needless to say, we jumped on the bus. You know, I'm sure the bears were all cleared out, as the park ranger said, but Yogi Bear, he's smarter than the average bear. And I'm sure he was hiding out, and so we took the bus. But the 7-day Alaskan cruise, just life on the ship, you know, just spectacular. I had a chance to catch up on some reading. I actually had my computer out there, so we were able to do some work. And of course, the ice carvings and the different setups that they have to display all the different types of food. There was a chocolate display and fruit display and all you can eat. And of course, we were just enjoying ourselves. And then we actually went to a gold camp. And so White Pass. And we took a train to a gold camp. And there was a nice little lady. She had a nugget. Brenda, I wish that was a real piece of gold. And we got out, took some pictures, and I went to the gold camp. And of course, they simulate you mining for gold. And we brought some back in a little vial, but of course wasn't worth anything. But you talk about an incredible trip. In fact, this train ride that we took is going to inspire us to do a trans-United States intercontinental ride with Amtrak. And so we're going to find some time to do that. On the cruise ship, and if you've never been on a cruise, it's the best way to travel, the best value. You've got your accommodations, you've got your entertainment, all the food you could ever want to eat, lobster night, lobster and prime rib, all you could ever want to eat. And then they've got the shows. And these are Broadway type shows, and you can see the costumes. You know, they didn't spare, you know, any money in putting on these shows and getting the costumes and the outfits and just a beautiful, beautiful time. And so if you get a chance, the Alaskan cruise is a great cruise. If you get a chance, you know, definitely go on the Dungeness all-you-can-eat George Inlet excursion and the dogs, of course, if you want to go dog sledding. That will be an experience that you'll remember forever. And like we always say, travel creates memories. And we just wanted to share some of these different memories that we have. So back to you, Brenda.
Wow, that was fantastic. I remember that. See, guys, everybody has a memory about travel. And you want to make sure you get your circle of friends together. Now is the time to start your business. There's a lot of people that you know. There's coworkers that are looking for something different now. The wait staff, waiters, you know, the bartenders, the people who are not going to come back to cut hair, and different businesses are not going to call people back. So what you want to do is you want to get your circle of friends together, and you all can start your Surge 365 business. Do it now. Don't wait. You cannot determine what life is going to bring you, but you can determine what you do and how you work through it. So work through it now by becoming self-employed. I'm telling you, the different things that you get by being self-employed. And if you do want to go back to work, I understand, but then pick this up part-time. Because see, we have so much to offer you with Surge 365. And we're proven. We've been here for a minute. We didn't just pop up when the pandemic popped up. So take advantage of the fact that we know what we're talking about. And we want to help you create memories with your family. So get back to the person who invited you to watch this video, or contact one of us so we can help you get started to change your family's financial future for the better. It's just that simple. We are here to help you do it and start creating all these great memories. So everyone have a great rest of your day. And definitely we will be seeing you all on the beaches of the world. Bye-bye now.